On my table here I have two MOZA wheelbases. First we have the MOZA R9 and here we have the MOZA R12. Now the most obvious difference between the two is this one is 9 Newton meters and this one is 12 Newton meters. So there is a difference in power output. This is 34% more powerful than this one. But one thing that's really interesting is the actual footprint of the actual wheelbase is identical. It's the same height, it's the same width, and if we put them in this direction, they are the actual same depth. However, there are some differences that are worth mentioning, so I'll point those out for you now, guys. And you might be able to tell the difference here, just from this profile, is the MOZA R9 has a slightly longer and thicker steering column than the MOZA R12 here. And the difference in length from this point to here, from the wheelbase to the end of the steering column, this one is basically 1 centimetre longer than this one. And also the thickness of the steering column, so this is 50 millimeters and this is 58 millimeters. So a slight difference in a slight weight reduction, of course, because of it being slightly thinner and slightly shorter. The other thing that's worth noting here is if we look at the side here, so this is aluminium, but if I bring them in closer, you can see there is a join on both of them. And this part is a plastic piece, so it's aluminium all the way from the front to this part here, and then you've got the plastic piece there. And you can see there's a little bit more plastic on the MOZA R12 here. Also, you can see it is labelled R12. There's no markings on this one. So hopefully that helps you work out which one is which when we have them side by side. And if we look at the back here, there is a difference as well in the sockets, the socket arrangements. So this is the R9. You have power, USB, e-stop and a dashboard socket there. In addition, we have the same sockets, but we also have a couple of extra sockets here. We have also the shifter socket and the handbrake socket. So those are for the MOZA hardware, those new devices. The MOZA R9 came out before those devices were made available, which is why there are no extra sockets here. If you do run those devices, you can run them just to USB onto your PC anyway. So you can still use them, but of course there is a slight convenience here by the fact you can plug them directly into the back of the wheelbase here. Another very observable difference is the fact we have these terminals on here with a different arrangement. So on the MOZA R9 we have 3 of these pads, and on here we have 5. Now the only difference here is it's to do with the ES wheel. The MOZA ES, which is this one here, this is not compatible with the MOZA R9 or the MOZA R9 V1. Now if you buy MOZA R9 now, it will have this same arrangement and it will be compatible. So that's the only difference between the MOZA R9 version 1 and 2 is to do with the patterns on here. And again, the reason is this came out after this product, and that's the reason why it's not compatible, at least in the version 1 of the MOZA R9. But other than that, MOZA R9 V1 and 2 are identical in every other spec. If you like my content, consider becoming a member to help support the channel. Click on the join button to find out more. Now the final fact I have to tell you about the differences between these wheelbases is the weight. Now what's really interesting here is despite the MOZA R12, the newest one, the more powerful one, having a slightly shorter and thinner steering column, which is a weight reduction of course, over this one here, and also having a bit more plastic at the back and slightly less aluminium, the MOZA R12 is heavier than the MOZA R9. Now I did weigh them both, or at least I tried to weigh them both, because I did stumble into a little bit of a problem with my scale. My scale only goes up to 5 kilograms, and I weighed this and it's 4.6 kilograms. I weighed the MOZA R12 and it exceeds 5 kilograms, so my electronic scale basically errored out. But I'd estimate this is about 5.5 kilograms, so about a kilogram more than this one. And I can definitely tell there is a weight difference, and that does to me feel heavier. So I can tell there is an increase in weight here, despite it having some weight, reduction features on here. And since this is the more powerful wheelbase over the MOZA R9, it would make sense there will be a more powerful and heavier motor in there. So although they've managed to pack it into the same size and find ways to reduce the overall weight with certain elements, it's still the heavier wheelbase. So yeah, if you were wondering if they were doing some sort of voodoo and they just basically were providing a more powerful power supply to go with the MOZA R9 and just basically overdriving it to turn it into an R12. That's not the case. There's clearly a denser, stronger motor in here since it is a heavier device by a kilo. So there you go, guys. So those are the differences between these two wheelbases. I thought you might find that interesting. I certainly did when I was playing around with them. But and if you are interested in actually finding out more about both of these wheelbases, I have reviewed them on the channel. Both have feature-length reviews, very detailed. So if you want to check that out, if you haven't watched those already, if you're new to my channel, check the links in the description, also my pinned comment. There are direct links to both of these reviews. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, happy simming, and bye-bye for now.